Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Time for a fact that makes your brain go. And this one, another one, is just kind of a little disheartening, maybe a little scary, depending on how old you are. So this is something that only happened to people in their 60s for decades. It only happened to people over 60 years old for the most part. And now it's happening to people in their 20s. All of a sudden, a pretty quick shift. In the last decade, I would say, the doctor's report says that this is now happening to 20-year-olds, only happen to people in their 60s for, it's like caveman, Jesus time till, 10 years ago. So what do you think that is, Kenzie?
Knee replacements.
Knee replacements of a 20-year-old.
My knees hurt.
Yeah.
Like, both of my kids were really heavy, chunky, because they're both like Justin size. Like Marino's in the 98th percentile for height, and he's like half my body. I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah.
I was never obviously that. I was like in the 4th percentile for height. It's not good. And so, like, my knees are jacked up from carrying kids the same size as me around for so long.
That's pretty funny, by the way, because also having a child, you go to the doctor and they say, she looks great. She's in the 98th percentile. Height, weight, the head. The head's got to be good size, too, you see, in case you don't know this. Maybe you had a 100 percentile head.
My parents took me to the hospital because they were concerned about how big my head was.
Yeah,
Why were you just dragging it around? You look like a rainbow?
Yes. And then I kept on hitting my head on the fireplace because I had toy monster trucks. Monster trucks were my first love. And because I, was into broadcasting at such a young age, obviously, you play with them with like the bird's eye view, but I wanted like a tracking camera. So I would play with the truck, but I would drag my head against the carpet floor. And every night my dad would go, fireplace, fireplace. And I wouldn't hear, but I would hit my head on the fireplace. I have years and years of brain damage.
You think they would have moved you once
It's sort of I had to learn for myself.
instead of just yelling?
Could have got rid of that fireplace.
Well, no,
Put
it
a
kept
few
us warm.
pillows around it.
No, my parents took me to the hospital when I was a very young child because they were concerned my head was too big. And then they did a bunch of tests on me, and the nurse came back, and she goes, do you know what the cause of big-headed children is? And my parents go, what? And they go, big-headed parents.
Well, they got jokes over there at the doctor's
Rodney
office.
Dangerfield was my doctor.
Yeah.
And then they sent us home.
Wow.
Megamind shows up with his kid over here.
I'd love to see, because again, it's a very, like, Kenzie and I know this right now, having, toddlers, young children. And when you go to the doctor and they say, 98th percentile, you walk out and go, hell yeah, that's my daughter, that's my son. And I could see your parents going in, yes, your son's in the 400,000th percentile for his head. It's not good. This
I
does
just
not look
imagine
good.
Case looking like a rainbow. Like it's his head and his body's bent, and then his feet is just dragging.
I didn't have scoliosis. No disrespect if you do, but not me.
So when he had to walk to school, they put his head in a wagon.
I look like the Headless Horseman.
God.
Wow. All right. So Kenzie thinks it's knee replacements that this only happened to people above 60 since the beginning of time. In the last decade, now it's happening to people in their 20s. Doctors, a report came out. What do you think
Bad
of this
knees,
case?
man.
Bad knees. Heart attacks.
Heart
I
attacks?
think they've got kids hopped up on all these energy drinks, myself included. They're marketing energy drinks towards ladies now.
Hold on.
What isn't wrong with you?
What did I say? What did I do?
Well, I was going to stop because you had these kids are hopped up on energy drinks like you're a 65-year-old man. You're 26.
Brian and I wanted to make this young hire of somebody who wasn't married and had kids, and it's the worst decision we've ever made.
He's the oldest man in the room, the crotchety old man saying, get off my lawn at 26 years old.
Okay.
Okay, so heart attacks and knee replacements.
Because old people, they didn't have energy drinks growing up, but I did. I was influenced by Dale Earnhardt Jr. when he moved from Budweiser to the Amped Energy NASCAR, and I said, I got to drink an Amped, and that was the start of my energy drink addiction.
Well, the
Were you
original
drinking Budweiser before that as a child?
yeah, I was.
older people had Jolt Cola, and Mountain Dew was the original energy drink.
I don't think I
basically.
know
And mind you,
Jolt.
they put cocaine in soda at one point.
That's right,
so-
Coke had Coke. Jolt, look up Jolt. It's still around. You can still find it.
Jolt.
Yeah, Jolt was still. They tried to rebrand it. They should have been Red Bull, or they should have been Celsius, or whatever the hell. What's the Jake Paul one?
Oh, Prime.
Prime. The
What
one
is Celsius? I thought that had alcohol in it, but I saw a bunch of people drinking it the other day, and on my own, thinking,
No, I have a Celsius every morning before work.
and that's an
It
energy
doesn't
drink,
have
right?
alcohol?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it does not have alcohol.
Yeah.
It looks like it does, but it doesn't.
we were at Tristan's 8 a.m. baseball game, and I saw a parent drinking one, and I was like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" I thought they were like a vodka seltzer.
No. They're just an energy
You're,
drink.
you're, you're okay unless they're drinking a Four Loko at his game. If they're in the crowd drinking a Four Loko.
I mean, it was 8 a.m. at a children's baseball. I mean, I get it. It makes everybody want to drink. I understand, but I'm like, whoa.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. You can guess at 312-591-8300.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101 with a fact that makes your brain go. This one's pretty concerning as people over 60 for decades had this happen to them. And it was kind of, in a way, expected. It's not great, but it was expected. But now, all of a sudden, in the last decade, there's a huge increase in this of people in their 20s or 20s, 30s, 40s, like above 20 instead of 60. Kenzie thinks it's knee replacements. Because, damn, just we're out there, like, lifting heavy things all the time. And we're weaker humans in general.
I chased around after kids. Like, I was fine. My body was fine. And then I was chasing around after kids. I'm like, it's broken. Everything's messed up.
Yeah, bending over to pick something up is the worst. It's like, why just leave it then? Why not just
Every
leave it?
night when I have to lift Burrito out of the tub, I'm like, it's like, I feel like I'm like one of those gym videos. I'm just looking at a barbell. I'm like, oh my God. Okay.
Well, you got to take the baby out of the bathwater. We can't leave him in there. Don't leave the remote control. Leave on the floor.
I gotta like breathe. I'm like, ah!
And Case thinks it's heart attacks, and both those are wrong. On the text line, people guessed erectile dysfunction. Good guess. Also, cataracts in their 20s. A lot of that came in on the text line, but both those are wrong as well. What it is people in their 60s, 70s, 80s used to get strokes only, but now people in their 20s are getting strokes. If you found out someone had a stroke in their 20s, I'd be like, what? And the reason is, well, they're giving some reasons, is the risk factors of a stroke. Increase in use of substances like vaping, not just smoking. I thought smoking was on the downtrend, you know?
Now smoking's back.
I guess smoking's back. And weed.
Smoking's bad.
People my age love smoking.
I see a lot of people smoking cigarettes all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's cool again. I'm not saying it is cool. I'm just saying that people think it's cool.
You know what's
again.
crazy is, Case, I feel like you love smoking like an old cigarette, but you would get like the ones that people used to put on a stick because you'd be like, I don't just buy them from a gas station. These are like the old school. This is what they did with movies. We're in black and white.
Is that how he's going to do that? He's going to go,
Yes.
Wait, he's smoking a cigarette like Mr. Howell did on the Gilligan's Island with that stick and then the cigarette's at the end of
You know
it.
what I mean? Like, he'd have to smoke it in a way that, like, when people bought vinyl, this is how they smoked it.
She turned into comic book guy from The Simpsons.
I was going to say, it's such a good impression that you don't even know you're doing.
It's just me, baby.
I must smoke the cigarette at the end of a long stick to look important.
Okay.
But smoking, obesity is another one. So people are just sitting around on their phones or gaming and they're not getting up and doing anything. That causes a stroke. That causes diabetes eventually and hypertension. All these risk factors are rising in young people and they at least give you a chance at having a stroke, which you wouldn't have had until later in life. So I guess we got to move around more. We got to stop smoking, stop drinking, stop eating a bunch of good, delicious food. I don't know. I like all that stuff.
When you phrase it like that, it makes it really hard for people to change their diet, Ryan.
All right, well, okay. How about once a week you go for a jog? Not a walk, because steps don't count. You got to run. You got to work
I
up
thought
a
you were
sweat.
saying once a week you eat bad. Only once a week
Yeah.
you're healthy.
Yeah, I thought maybe once a week you'd have a cigarette, but no, okay, 6 days you can do that. 1 day a week you have to go for a jog.
So you're picking one instead of like this is my cheat day. You're like, this is my work. This is the one day.
Well, you just
when I'm
said
healthy.
you just said I went too far and made it impossible, so now I'm making it possible.
No, I meant your verbiage makes it saying like, oh, give up delicious food. You can have healthy, delicious food. You're making it mentally impossible.
There is no healthy, delicious food.
Yes, there is.
Give me one right now, real quick, top of your head.
I made this like chicken burrito bowl last night. That was super healthy. It was 382 calories.
So without the bowl though? I want the wrap. I need the
bread is awesome.
yeah.
Okay, you didn't say with a wrap. You said name something that tastes good.
No, I'm saying that I'm sure it tasted good. It didn't taste as good as a burrito, like the full burrito with the bread, right?
Okay. Well, you can't see your toes, so keep it up.
I'm not speaking on that. I'm speaking on that a burrito bowl is not as tasty as a burrito.
You never got a bowl at Chipotle?
Never.
No.
Really?
Nope.
But it was always so much better to save for later that way.
I'm not saving anything for later.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. And it's time for Head to Headlines. You decide the content based on the headline alone. Remember, we'll never talk about the other story again. And today's, I got to say, is one of the toughest one in months because I really want to talk about both stories. And you're going to decide carefully on this one at 312-591-8300 which story you want to hear, headline 1 or headline 2. If you've never been on the show, never heard the show, been on the show, none of you have been on the show. If you've never heard the show.
Why do you gotta say it like that?
Wait, who's on the show? What's happening?
So it's Brian, Kenzie, and Case. That's the show.
And we're on the show.
And yeah, there's no one else around. This is us.
Okay.
There's no one even here. This is
Josie's not here anymore. I know people want her to come back.
They really
She wasn't
do.
fired. Don't get mad.
Nope. Kenzie really wanted Josie to stay.
I did. I like Josie.
Had to be a one or the other. We should have done head-to-headlines with Josie and Case.
I do not like that.
Ooh.
I'm looking at two people who I know who they would have voted for, and it's not me.
All right, so here we go.
Like Josie.
Yeah, she's a peach. Today's headlines, and you decide again. You text in 312-591-8300 headline 1 or headline 2. Which story we break down is up to you. Headline number 1: 250 million bees unleashed upon northern Washington after truck overturns.
That's my
250
nightmare.
250 million bees?
I didn't know there were that many on the earth.
If you would have told me there was 250 million bees in America, I would have said, that sounds right.
Imagine being behind the truck and your windows are open. It's like, you just, it's a nice, so you're like, woo, snow's finally gone.
First day, Kenzie takes the roof and the doors off her Jeep. Is that day?
Fudge. And you're not running faster than them. You're not like, let me just get out. Like, you're toast.
I mean, that's almost a bee a person in the United States right there at 250 million.
God, that's crazy.
So it was only northern Washington.
I just can't get over. You don't know that's what's in that truck. So it flips and you're like, wow! You're like, oh my God. Like, you would have money, food. Remember when the Beanie Babies, what the hell?
I was going to say hammers.
Jumanji.
Yeah, there's probably hammers in the truck.
Gotta be something. It can't be bees. There's no way it's a bee truck.
Who's hauling
the
bees?
final destination?
I'm a long haul trucker. What do you haul? Bees.
Oh.
What do you work for an evil scientist? Dr. Doofenshmirtz and Phineas and Ferb?
Who ordered that many bees?
That's a hell of an Amazon order.
Who ordered that?
Kenzie, can you make your bee sting sound one more time?
It's like an electrocution at that point.
All right, so we're almost breaking down the story without even doing it, but that's 250 million bees unleashed upon northern Washington after truck overturns. And I promised 2 tough headlines here, so don't text in yet. That's headline 1. If you like that, remember it. But headline 2, and we're never going to talk about the other story again. Headline 2: Maryland woman charged after allegedly hitting child on plane who called her Miss Piggy.
Oh my God. What is the deal with planes today? We got some issues.
A lot of stuff. Maryland woman charged after allegedly hitting child on plane who called her Miss Piggy.
She should be so lucky. Miss Piggy's a diva.
Yeah, I don't know if that's how he was using it. And he was or she was probably using it as a diva term, but also Miss Piggy's other accoutrement, other features of Miss Piggy.
I like that she allegedly hit him, but they for sure know that he called her Miss Piggy.
Yep, I heard it. Yep. All right, so now text in 312-591-8300 headline 1 or headline 2. Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Wow, one of the toughest head-to-headlines in a while because 2 amazing headlines. We will never talk about the other one again that you didn't choose. You decide the content of the show, and the headlines were to choose from. And still adding up the votes. This is insane. Just about as many as tried to choose between Moana and the Goonies 45 minutes ago.
It's a democracy show. A lot of voting on here.
So, headline 1 was 250 million bees unleashed upon northern Washington after truck overturns. If you want to hear more about that story, you vote headline 1. Headline 2. Maryland woman charged after allegedly hitting child on plane who called her Miss Piggy. Now, remember, we say we'll never talk about it again, but we also get it scrubbed from Google. You can never even see this story again. It's gone. So, wow, what are the numbers, Case, on the text line?
It was so close, very reminiscent of a heated U.S. presidential election. But the winner of this week's Head to Headlines is headline number 1, the B story.
Wow.
I know. A lot of people wanted 2. A lot of people wanted 1. 1 just edged out 2.
Also, a lot of people said, please do both.
And we cannot do that. That would be against the law.
That's not the bit. That's not it. That's
What
not
do you want me to tell them, Brian? To go F themselves? I'm just telling you what they said.
Please tell them that.
Yeah.
Please.
Hey, we would like you to bend over.
Sign Kenzie. Love Kenzie. Text back here. Love you. Bend over now. All right, so there we go. It's gone. So headline 1 wins. 250 million bees unleashed upon northern Washington after truck overturns, which I imagine it sounded something like Tommy Boy.
Bees! Bees! Bees in the car! Bees everywhere! God, they're huge! They're ripping my flesh off!
Son, roll around. Do you hear me? Roll around on the ground.
Forget that! I'm starting to swell up! Save yourself! Don't be the hero!
Frank, I'm allergic to bees. Me too.
They're huge and they sting crazy!
We'll come back later and check on you. In a while.
Save yourself! Your firearms are useless against them!
Holy shnikes, it worked.
Oh, holy shnikes, it worked. All right.
So that would have been me behind the truck.
Right. Well, here we go. This is the headline you chose. 250 million bees unleashed upon northern Washington after truck overturns. We were all very curious about how many bees. Like, that's almost a bee a person in the United States, and it was just in northern Washington. And in case you also just did a little Google search from the song, in case we did this story, there's 20,000 just bee species.
Just bee species. Now, I tried to figure out how many total bees there are in the U.S. Google told me there were 2.51 million colonies. So then I Googled, well, how many bees are in a colony? And it said up to 60,000 bees per colony.
Oh, God.
So I did the math on my phone calculator, but
It goes too far. You can't figure out what number it is.
Well,
Well, like you don't know how to say the number. I hate when that happens.
it gave me letters. It says,
Oh, my God.
it says 1.506 E11. What's E?
I don't know, eternity? Like it never ends?
So I thought the whole thing was that the bees were dying. Turns out we might have too many bees.
Well, we can't have too many bees. I will say this: we need bees to live. When the bee population goes down on Earth, we're all gonna die because the pollination that they do.
It's called Euler's number. EULERS. Okay, Euler's number,
You
and it's
explain it, Kenzie, before we get to the story.
yes, it's an irrational number, meaning it cannot be expressed in a simple fraction. Like it's so big. I guess I don't.
Thanks.
Kind of like that. It stands for eternity. Like it's just not
Sort
gonna
of
end.
petered off at the end there.
So
Well, I'm
it's,
like, why can't it be expressed? Just say what it is.
Oh, it's irrational.
Say like a gajillion. Like just say it.
yep. All right, so there's a lot of bees. It's a lot of bees, and we need them. But here we go. In Linden, Washington, emergency officials have been busy, as well. You know. Oh, funny writer in the story. Busy as bees, you see? That's a phrase. Anybody else get, no? Okay. Cleaning up after a commercial truck full of beehives. It crashed in northern Washington, unleashing 250 million bees on first responders. Oh, my God. So they had the hives they were taking with all the bees in. They're just chilling, going like, I guess we're going on vacation. Mm-hmm. And then it crashes, and they go, well, we're getting the hell out of this truck.
They're like, we're getting a refund on this travel experience. Say that much.
I remember, Frank the bee going to the other guy, like Fred the bee, saying, wait till the first person I see out of this damn crash rock, I'm going to sting the hell out of that person. The truck overturned on Weed Camp Road around 4 a.m.
Oh, my God. Nothing good happens after midnight.
Could you just imagine working like an overnight shift? And you got to be like, at a certain point, like, God hates me.
You're like a nurse who's been up for 26 hours in a row. Surely this isn't 250 million bees attacking me right now.
Yeah.
I must be hallucinating.
Certainly, I don't have to go back to the hospital that I just left for working.
I just want to go to the diner and get an omelet. Oh, I can't wait. I've been driving for 17 hours. It's 4 a.m., almost there to Linden, just south of the Canadian border. Okay, a massive response of deputies, public works officials, and several bee experts were called to the scene. Now, I think it'd be great to be a bee expert. but I still don't want that call where I'm useful at 4 a.m.
The emergency bee phone sitting by your bedside table.
Well, I'd imagine it's never rang before. Like, what are you even? I don't know. Why would you be needed that often? I would hate to be a bee expert. Do you know how many interactions you have to have with bees to be a bee expert?
I mean, true, but then again, it's your life's work and you want to be useful. So wouldn't that be a great time to go, all of a sudden you're on TV?
But your life's work is to interact with these. If I see one like outside, I'm like, oh God. Like, I don't want to see one across the park. It's like a problem.
Well, you wouldn't be a good bee expert.
No.
So the 70,000 pounds of honey beehives on board came off the truck, unleashing. So wait, they worked on the thing for a while. It says that happened at 9 a.m. So the truck crashed and everything was kind of fine. Then when they took the hives off the truck, it unleashed the 250 million bees. They should have left them on the truck and just they never ran that road again. They should have blocked that road off with concrete.
Where was this go? Who ordered this many bees?
We're not there yet. We're not there yet in the story. But they were fine at 4
Winnie the
a.m.
Pooh is like on the who ordered this?
He like fell off the wagon. He's relapsing. He's like, I gotta get these bees.
I have some jars, baby.
Now, here's the Facebook post that happened at 9 a.m. when they unleashed them all by accident, it seems like. 250 million bees are now on the loose, the Whatcom County Sheriff's deputies posted on Facebook. All caps, avoid the area due to potential of bee escape and swarming.
Swarming?
Swarming.
It's a highway. What are you going to avoid the area?
I'd rather get shot than swarmed.
Let me think about that for a second.
What are you supposed to do? There's nothing you can do to get them off of you. They're just everywhere.
I mean, if you're shot, one person is probably doing it.
Yeah.
So you'd at least
You
see.
could try to hide from them. You know what I mean? You could, you could, I don't know, maybe light yourself on fire, I guess, and get the bees off of you.
Yeah, I
But
could
then
do
you're on fire. That sucks too.
Right, a whole other, can of worms.
You can't do a killer crossover to a swarm to avoid them. They're going to get you.
In The Matrix, they couldn't have dove out of the way of a bee sting. They can dive out of the way of bullets, but not a bee sting.
Here's the other quote from the Facebook page of the police when this happened. Master beekeepers are on the scene, and others are on the way to assist in resetting the box hives. Are you kidding me? They got to get these bees back. How many beekeepers certainly were in the area or bee experts
Listen,
to get there?
This isn't usually my take, but bomb them. Are you kidding me? That's not usually my go-to, but I think you have to start over. That's bad stuff.
This is the terrifying part, almost the end of the story here. The plan, and this is all on Facebook they put, the plan is to allow the bees to rehive and find their queen bee. That should occur within the next 24 to 48 hours.
Looks like I'm going to be busy.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
I just had the headlines where the headline story you chose us to break down was 250 million bees unleashed upon northern Washington after truck overturns. Now, we finished the story pretty much. There's a little bit on the ending you got to hear about in a second, but a lot of people chiming in on this. Got to give it props to our first-time texter, Chris checking in, Chris Schneider from Homewood, who said, I wonder if that person who decided to become a bee expert originally wanted that profession, or it was their plan B.
Oh, gosh.
Boo!
Get ready for another one. This one came from 847, checking in. Charity, you really have to be careful when calling bee experts. All the ones I know went to school and were bee students.
Boo!
Hey, you're just not fun. Matt texted in and said, if I'm working the midnight shift and I'm tired and I'm driving home during morning rush and that many bees are on the loose, I'm just driving into a lake.
Clearly. We also had a math person check in and Case did, we're trying to figure out how many bees there were. And when Case did it on his calculator on his iPhone, this E letter came up, and Kenzie explained that E, but it didn't get us to the final answer. There were 2.5 million bee hives multiplied by 60 bees.
By 60,000 bee colonies.
Yeah, that's right. So it should be, this is only U.S. or is this the world?
This is U.S. I only did domestic bees.
150 billion.
Tasted legal bees
Yeah, I
that
did
are
legal bees.
born
I
on
need to see some
soil.
paperwork.
Can they fly over the borders without papers?
Hey, not on my watch they
Hey,
can't.
hey.
Hey, we're taking care of that right now.
Wait, is there a division of ICE for bees?
There's going to be. That's in that new bill that got passed.
Well, that would be the only one to be approved.
They call it hives. What? Swarm.
Wow.
Swarm. Not good.
150 billion bees. Now, Cody checked in, Cody the door guy checked in and said, I used to live in that county where that happened. He says there are, quote, plenty of weirdos that like bees out there. I don't know if that was an Amazon order for 250 million bees. There had to be a purpose. Also, back to the story, this isn't the first bee truck accident in the area. So to Cody's point, he might be right. In 2015, a truck carrying 40 million bees, a paltry 40 million,
chump change,
was involved in a wreck on Interstate 5 in a northern Seattle suburb, unleashing a chaotic cloud of angry bees upon commuters and first responders. So if they thought that was bad using that verbiage, what about 250 million bees on the first responders? Not good.
Oh my God! What that has to do to your home value? When a bee gets out, that's bad for the whole community.
Well, not all 250 are coming back. 250 million. You know what I mean? So there's let's say a million decide not to go back to the queen, to Kenzie, the queen bee.
I'm swamped. They're all. I just imagine them all at Soldier Field waiting for Beyonce to come out.
Yeah. You know, Kenzie being the queen bee, they're all like, listen. I've had enough of her. He's always ordering me around, massage her feet.
What's the queen supposed to do?
Well, that's what they do, but I'm thinking out of 250 million, there might be a million that might be dissatisfied.
Want equality?
Disgruntled. They're going to go it on their own and try to find food on their own. I don't even know if you provide food as the queen bee. Is that why they stay with the queen bee? Does the queen bee provide food?
No, she's like a manager.
Is it like a breastfeeding? Is that what you're asking? If it's like a breastfeeding situation?
No, they don't breastfeed. Oh my God.
That'd be a lot of bees to breastfeed.
Well, maybe they breastfeed honey.
Okay, here's what it is. The queen bee's primary roles in the bee colony are to lay eggs. How about that? You want that job, Kenzie?
Period.
And also regulate colony behavior through pheromones.
AKA run that ish. Okay.
So imagine Kenzie's pheromones and
No, thank you.
take the temperature of that beehive.
Regulators.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
We had a breaking news yesterday, a lawsuit, and we found out a lot about Mondelez International. Do you know who they are and what they do? Well, here's what's going on in Chicagoland. With this groundbreaking story.
A popular snack maker is suing Aldi over its packaging. The lawsuit filed by Mondelez International alleges the grocery store chain is copying its packaging, with Aldi's private label snacks closely resembling their own. Mondelez produces snacks like Oreos, Ritz crackers, and Teddy Grahams. The company is seeking monetary damages and asking Aldi to stop selling the products in question.
I didn't know they did Teddy Grahams, too.
Teddy Grahams are so underrated.
Well, listen, this lawsuit could cause a pivotal impact in all those delicious snacks not ever existing in the future. The lawsuit is against Aldi because their packaging looks just like the knockoff brands of Chips Ahoy, Oreo. We found out a deep dive in Oreo. So the lawsuit, Mondelez International, Chicago-based, is suing Aldi, Chicago-based. That could end up, who knows how this is going to go. I don't like it. I like both brands. I like the knockoff brands. I like the existing brands. Can't we all just get along? But apparently not, because the knockoff packaging looks exactly. I guess.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, it's a cookie and it's blue. Get over it.
Well, they could have used green in the packaging.
But they didn't. Get over it.
They chose blue because they know people will think it's Chips Ahoy instead of chocolate chip cookies, as it says on the packaging.
But they are chocolate chip cookies. What's the problem?
They are.
Chips Ahoy didn't invent chocolate chip cookies.
They perfected it, though.
Ugh.
No, you don't think so?
I bet the Aldi ones are better. I bet you.
Oh, my God.
Well,
Have you even had them, Case?
No.
Have you even had them?
Because I buy name brand red bag chewy Chips Ahoy.
He's a name brand guy.
Oh, what can I say? I'm a name brand guy. I've had a good year.
But the red bag, forget about it. The chewy Chips Ahoy, no.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, because I know you don't like crunchy things because they hurt your teeth.
Well, no, it's just I don't desire crunch. I'm never like, oh, I love how hard this is to eat.
I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
I'm going to wait. You say what you're going to say.
Nothing. It's too mean.
No, go ahead.
Now I have to hear it.
I was going to say, it doesn't look like you think anything's hard to eat.
I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you got there. As Jeremy
It
Piven
looks like
said,
you figured it out and worked through it.
how's you feel about that, Case?
Well, she said it was too mean. She was right.
She did.
Yeah.
Well, we went on a little wormhole yesterday, though, and found out that the Oreo was really invented in Chicago because the Hydrox cookies. Am I saying that right? Yeah, the Hydrox cookies.
Hydrox.
Yeah.
It sounds like medicine. You would think that Hydrox couldn't be the name of a cookie brand, but they're the originator of what we now know as the Oreo.
They look just like the
A lot of
Oreo.
people are like, it sounds like a cleaning supply, which I could totally see. Yeah.
You can spray your Hydrox on your tables, and you can eat them. I can see that advertising campaign.
That's good.
It's a crunchier cookie, and it was less soggy when dipped in milk, and that's what the Oreo was. But also, they eventually, there's a time limit on that sogginess. It does get there,
It
which
is
I love.
insane to sue somebody over a cookie idea that you stole from somebody. It is, it's an unhinged idea.
It's amazing how many wormholes there are of did Hydrox rip off Oreo? It's the other way around. Oreo created in 1912. Hydrox was in the 1800s, but all Chicago-based, which is what I don't understand, is why Chicago's not known for pizza, Italian beefs, hot dogs, and Oreos.
The 1800s? When was, like, Ben Franklin alive?
A little earlier.
The 1800s?
A little earlier.
Why does it matter?
Because that's just, like, crazy. 1790, he almost made it.
He almost made it. Ben Franklin never had an Oreo. Could you imagine? So Oreos were invented in 1912. Imagine having an Oreo in 1912. That would be like...
Well, these people were having Hydroxes, which were just Oreos with a different name, in the 1800s.
during the Civil War.
Well,
That's
not that far back.
insane.
Let's not get carried away. Civil War soldiers never had Hydrox
When was
cookies.
Hydrox invented?
Well, it says they were introduced in 1908, but there were some reports.
I think it was 1888 from yesterday.
Okay,
When I looked at
sorry.
this-
Either way, Civil War ended before 1888.
1865. So-
Thankfully. Thankfully.
Yeah, we weren't a fan of the Civil War.
Do you think the Civil War would have happened if Oreos existed then?
No!
Because you would have been sitting around that table.
Because it was black and white came together with the Oreo.
Abraham Lincoln would have said, look at what this cookie did.
That's what I'm saying. They would have been like, why can't we just be like the cookie that everyone loves?
You see this cookie, how delicious it is? We could be delicious as a society if black and white just
Look
got
what
along.
happens. Look what happens. Instead of separating, look what happens when you're together.
You see, when you bite in the Oreo, the black and the white are both doing all the work together, not just the black.
And you can make yeah.
So why don't we end this slavery thing and just sit down and get some milk and cookies in here?
And no one's superior in the Oreo.
No.
They're both playing
No.
an integral part.
You don't say the black is only worth 1/3 of the white.
No one feels that way.
Nope. Nope.
And
It's all
no, so
together.
of course there wouldn't have been, because there's this incredible example in front of you. What are you talking about?
And it happens to be delicious.
Yeah.
Like if it didn't
that's
taste that good, it would have been a harder
Oh,
sell.
it would have been it would have made people more racist.
Yeah.
If the Oreo was bad.
You see, the white part's good.
That would have been really not good.
That's what wouldn't have worked. Thank God the black was really delicious with the white. Thank God it worked out.
It's crazy that people are racist now because we have Oreos.
Yeah. I mean,
Stop doing that.
stop doing it. Seriously. Just end racism today, eat an Oreo, and remember it came from Chicago, and everything is just fine.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.